Dang, this house does not look like what I really wanted. The home that I'm looking at does not look like what I planned. So, this is a statement I hear a lot from diasporans who, more often than not, by the time they're done building, they almost always say that the home they are looking at or the home that they are getting is not what they anticipated. So, I say a great home design does not have to be extravagant. It can be simple, useful in its beauty, making use of natural elements, and often it's mostly a matter of focusing intensely on the things that are most critical to you. Now, poor planning and small budgets can lead to huge design mistakes. And most of these design mistakes become very apparent when you're now wrapping things up, doing the finishing, and hoping to achieve what you initially desired. As I've said in the past, that many Kenyans living in diaspora often fail to actualize their home ownership dreams, in part because of poor home designs. A lot of the diasporans that I work with or that I've met really rely on their fundis to give them designs or just to design their homes. Some of them buy ready-made plans. Others get templates from diaspora and work with local architects to translate. And I've seen a few cases where folks use foreign architects, either in the US or in India or some of these other countries outside Africa, to do their homes. Unfortunately, with all these groups, there's bound to be problems if proper planning is not done. So in this video, I want to show you a few things you can avoid if you are planning, if you are at the planning stage, or things you can change when you get to the point where you want to remodel your house. But before we do that, welcome to an undisclosed location. I'm here to inspect work that is going on by one of my teams on the ground. I work with multiple fundis on different sites. And I have this tradition of popping up unannounced. Even though my folks work very independently, but I like popping in and out unannounced to do a few quality checks as they progress before a project is done. So again, if you are in need of help with construction, real estate, or things involving diasporans moving back to Kenya, feel free to reach us out on the number that I post in the channel. We have everybody from architects to interior folks all the way to landscaping. So today, I've picked about 10 common design flaws that I see most often in the plans that I get from people who live in diaspora. And in doing so, I'll also highlight the things that I do to help minimize some of these issues. So let's start with number one. The first one that is common in almost 80% of the plans that I look at is I notice that many folks in diaspora don't put a significant amount of effort in pre-construction planning, and specifically in relation to the design of the home. A lot of people do their homework, but oftentimes they don't know exactly what to look out for. Because most people often just focus on the aesthetics and less on the functionality of the house. So as long as the house looks beautiful, the other minor details are often missed. So to avoid this problem, I always ask my client when I meet with them the first time, I ask them to develop a wish list in terms of what they like and what they don't. And then I go through that wish list. I go through the pictures they send me, and then I point out things that often they don't pay attention to. And I ask the opinion, then we keep refining this list until we are ready before we send it out to the architects. And then the other thing that I do to minimize all these problems is I often give my clients existing templates for homes that are built in diaspora, not necessarily homes built in Kenya. I walk them through critical things that many people don't think about, and then we have this long discussion back and forth before we send it off to the architect. That really minimizes the time it takes for architects to produce what they want, and also minimizes the possibility that we're going to forget something important. The second most common thing that I see in the home designs that diasporans get is very poor bedroom designs. And I'll show you in a picture right here. I would say the great majority of the designs that I've received from my clients, the ones that we didn't do, have this common thing where they tuck in the bed at the corner. That's a very old, ancient idea. It might seem like a simple thing, but the position of the bed has significant implications for the window schedules, where the electrical lines are going to run, the doors, and so many other things. And so when an architect decides to place a bed in a corner, it can really mess up what you can or cannot do within those particular rooms. As you see in the example that I just shared in this video, most of those mistakes have to be corrected at a cost when you're now planning for the interiors. So always pay attention to the bedrooms. This idea of tucking the bed in the corner, when you have also protruding wardrobes that are just mounted somewhere inside the room, they take so much space, because in diaspora we tend to like wardrobes that are flushed along the walls. And then of course then you have issues with beds that are mounted against windows. And with many large beds, when you do that, you're actually reducing the amount of natural light coming in. So yes, I see a lot of poor bedroom designs that often have to be adjusted whenever possible. Now, related to that too, I also see a major problem with poor lighting and underpowered rooms. And in many cases, that often means windows that are very high. And you're talking about windows that are probably 4 or 5 courses high, or windows that are very tiny for large rooms. As is always standard, I tell my clients, as best as you can, large windows bring in more light and it's a good thing. However, you also have to balance between size and temperature control, because for very hot places or for positions that get the sun a lot, if you have large windows, then that room is likely going to be hotter for long. But just keep in mind that lighting alone actually accounts for anywhere between 25 and 40% of energy consumption in a house. So the size of your windows really matters when you're designing a house. And again, this is also important with the bathrooms. When you have very small windows, if you're taking a shower, then you have the entire room misting up, and it just could likely bring in issues with mold. So be careful with the sizes of your windows. A lot of the homes that I look at also have plenty of non-functional spaces. Like I see people who are accounting for game rooms when the game room thing is just an idea. They almost never game as a family. So you have plenty of non-functional rooms left and right that could be repurposed for some other things. And then also people rarely think about HVAC, which is of course heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Depending on your home, I always say make provisions for air conditioning so that even if you don't need it, it's fine. But if you do, you can use it. For example, I ask folks to put electrical outlets somewhere on top of the bed or within sitting room areas so that you can use wall-mounted AC units. But you can also account for central AC if you care for that. I've only seen one diaspora home with that since I've been walking around. Now, the other most common mistake that I see in home designs is bathrooms. The first issue is bathroom location. Sometimes you find this bathroom that is mounted right next to the front porch with this exhaust sticking out in front of the porch. It looks not so nice, and the position often is not ideal. Or sometimes you have a bathroom that is mounted right next to the dining area. And that can also be interesting when you have multiple guests, people coming in and opening doors in and out. So the stench may actually be a problem when people are eating close to a bathroom. So be thoughtful about where you place the bathroom, and also be thoughtful about the layout of the bathroom itself, where you put the shower area, the toilet, and the vanity. I've spoken about this in my previous videos, so you can check it in other videos. But the bathroom layout and position is really critical. And also that is related with the number of bathrooms. How many bathrooms do you actually need? I've seen people who end up like me, and I made that mistake. I took out certain bathrooms thinking I was actually saving some money. In truth, I don't think you're saving yourself that much money in the grand scheme of things, especially if you're building a big house. Yeah. So there's that challenge between balancing the right number of bathrooms versus trying to save. So be very thoughtful about what you need, especially for split level homes where you've got bathrooms downstairs and bathroom upstairs. How many bathrooms do you really need in a particular floor? And where are they located? The other most commonly noted concern with poorly designed homes is disorganized kitchens. What many people don't realize is that there's a thought as to the layout of the kitchen in terms of functionality. Think about where you cook, where you wash dishes, where you get your plates. If things are scattered all over, it really makes that kitchen inefficient because you have to run around looking for stuff moving up and down, as opposed to well-designed kitchens where you can easily cook, grab your parts, clean without having to move too far from one particular spot. So be very thoughtful about the kitchen layout in that sense. Many kitchens, people just throw stuff without thinking, okay, where you're placing your oven or your microwave or your freezer, what does this mean for a person who is actually going to use this kitchen on a regular basis? So ask yourself, if I'm to use this kitchen, how functional is it? Do I have to walk all over the place to get things back and forth? Or could I be more thoughtful about its general layout? Another common issue that I see with many designs is what I would describe as uninspired floor plans. And this could mean something that feels very impersonal, this cookie cutter layout, or things that are missing critical features, like I look into a house and I don't see a laundry area. Lots of dead spaces all over the place. You're missing a place to keep your batteries, solar batteries, which most of us do, or you don't have enough sitting space for people who love entertainment. And some of these homes, you walk in and it feels like you're into a maze, like you don't know what's left, what's right. Things are just all over. And then the house is over partitioned, multiple rooms, to the point where even when you have a bigger house, it feels really small when you walk in because there was no proper thought as to how you move from one point to another. So over partitioning is a very common thing, especially with the big homes that I've visited. So again, the other challenge that I see is when you have all bedrooms lined up on one side, like a motel. Some people are okay with that, but I'm sure there are better ways to line up your bedrooms. Again, I just pointed a few things. There's a whole lot more to say, but I'll add more in another video. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the next. Bye.